In week 4, you will use the strategy of read aloud, help your students make connections to reading and writing. The goal of this unit is to ensure that your bilingual students, as well as all of your students, make those connections to reading and writing. The teacher you will see, it's a privilege to watch her. She's going to help them understand how important it is to hold on to one's identity and culture. Have fun.
So I've had this burning question that's been on my mind for a while. So I was wondering, is it wrong to speak 2 languages? Like, is it a burden, like something that's so difficult to deal with, or is it a good thing? Raise your hand and tell me what you think. Danye, what do you think?
I think it's a good thing because just in case someone doesn't know how to speak one language and you know how to speak the language they speak, you can like translate.
All right, Loraven, what do you think?
I want to relate to hers. It is a good thing to speak more than one language because you would faster get hired if you do know English and also another language because like if you're a nurse, they look at you like the people who are sick or that speak a different language and are sick, you can help them better by speaking their language so they understand and you know what they want.
Gotcha. So I have another question. So some of you know how to speak 2 languages. So my question is, how do you feel being able to speak 2 languages? How does that make you feel? David?
It made me feel perfect, but things like he didn't want Mexicans here. That made me feel horrible.
Okay.
Pepita Talks Twice is actually about a girl who is struggling with being able to speak 2 languages. So she's able to speak Spanish and English, and she kind of runs into a little problem. And so that's what we're going to be reading about today. So Pepita Talks Twice. Pepita was a little girl who spoke Spanish and English. "Come, Pepita, please help us," people would say. Everybody called on Pepita to talk for them in Spanish and English. And she did what they asked without a grumble. Until today. Today, she didn't want to help anyone. She wanted to get home before her brother Juan. She wanted to teach their dog Lobo a new trick. She wanted to teach him to fetch a ball. But if she didn't hurry, Juan would teach Lobo first. Pepita raced by the grocery store that belonged to Mr. Hobbs, but not fast enough. "Pepita," Mr. Hobbs called, "come speak to this lady in Spanish. Tell me what she wants." Pepita did what Mr. Hobbs asked, but deep inside of her, a grumble began. She tiptoed by the house where her Aunt Rosa lived, but not softly enough. "Pepita," her aunt called her in Spanish, "come talk to the delivery man in English. Tell me what he wants." Pepita did what Aunt Rosa asked, but deep inside of her, the grumble grew. And when she went into her own yard and found her brother Juan teaching Lobo to return a ball, the grumble grew so big that it exploded. "If I didn't speak Spanish and English," she burst out, "I would have been here first." So, what do you see happening with Pepita so far? What do you see happening, Danye?
That she's getting mad because she can speak 2 languages because it's getting in the way of her doing what she wants to do.
It's getting in the way of her doing what she wants to do. So why is she getting mad, though? What keeps happening to her? Loraven?
People keep coming up to her. She tries to dodge them, but they always find her like, "Pepita, can you come do this? Can you come do that? Can you talk for me?" But she doesn't want to get mad at them.
I am never, ever going to speak Spanish anymore. That's pretty dumb, Juan said. My, oh my, Pepita, why? Her mother asked. Because I'm tired of talking twice. Twice? Her mother asked. Yes, once in Spanish and once in English. So I'm never going to speak Spanish anymore. So we've already kind of talked about this, but why doesn't she want to talk 2 languages?
Because
Jose?
Because people keep asking her for favors and everything.
So is she thinking that speaking 2 languages is a good thing, or is she thinking that it's a burden?
Burden.
It's a burden.
It's a bad
That's what
burden.
she's thinking, right? So now that she's made this decision to only speak English, turn and talk to your neighbor about what you think is going to happen now that she's decided. Roosevelt, what do you think is going to happen now that she's decided just to speak English?
That she's gonna forget Spanish.
Wolf, Pepita scolded, go home. But Lobo just wagged his tail and followed her to the corner. So,
The dog speaks Spanish,
so the dog's name is Lobo, means wolf in Spanish. So why do you think the dog didn't follow her?
Because she said wolf.
Because she said wolf, and does the dog understand her?
No.
You wasn't learning.
I know.
What's up, Alex?
I know how she could solve it. She could say, I'm not speaking English, but I can speak Spanish.
Like,
Oh, so she would switch it around? Then it would be a whole different book, maybe. All right. At school, her teacher, Miss Garcia, smiled and said, we have a new student starting today. Her name is Carmen, and she speaks no English. We must all be as helpful as we can. Miss Garcia looked at Pepita and said, Pepita, please tell Carmen where to put her lunch and show her where everything is. Carmen smiled at Pepita, and Pepita just wanted to run away and hide. Instead, she stood up and said, I'm sorry, Miss Garcia, but I can't. I don't speak Spanish anymore. So, turn and talk to your neighbor about what do you notice about how everyone is responding to Pepita so far.
They're responding
People are responding to Pepita so far. Jalissa, would you like to share?
I think it's good to speak two kind of language because you could translate lots of people and you could get lots of jobs.
So, do you notice that the people that she, like Miss Garcia, Mr. Jones, what do they keep telling Pepita about speaking two languages?
That's good.
That it's good, right? Does anybody have anything that they want to add on? Jose?
The brothers keep on saying that it's a bad thing because she can't get tacos, tamales, and all that, and then that she can teach you tricks. Because that's what she wanted to do in the first place, teach about tricks.
Right, so that was her problem was she couldn't teach the dog tricks because her brother kept leading her home. Okay. So what would you do if this were you? What would you do? How would you solve the problem?
I would stop.
Roosevelt, how would you solve the problem?
I'll stop just talking. I'll talk Spanish and English.
You would just speak both. Simple thing, right? Anybody else want to share? How about somebody I haven't called on? Areli, what would you do if this were you?
I would speak Spanish.
You would still speak. Would you speak both? Okay. So I want you to turn and talk to each other about something special that you have because of a part of your culture that you are going to make sure you never let go.
The bomb and also it's almost has to stay like I'm like we're not supposed to chill like this.
Spanish, English. I used to speak Chinese. I'm learning from my sister. And then my brother's teaching me French.
Cool. Very good.